Love. Now there's a complex topic. Love may be as old as time itself, but it is still quite a mystery. One man who is unraveling its secrets is psychologist John Lydon, whose lab is recognized around the world as being at the forefront of understanding romantic relationships. It's a well-established fact that people who have more long-lasting and satisfying intimate relationships live longer, are happier, and are healthier. Relationships are important. But with divorce rates hovering around 50%, it's clear that establishing happy relationships is not easy. Why is that? And can we learn more about relationships in order to help people establish them and maintain them?
What happens when you first meet a person? What are the things that matter? Obviously, if the person's attractive, that makes a difference. But is it just how physically attractive they are, or are there other factors in play?
Well, it seems that the look of love can be captured by things such as affiliative hand gestures.
McGill psychology professor John Lydon is considered to be a world leader in understanding interpersonal relationships.
You're only going to have about 30 seconds or so to answer that page of questions. So we want you to go with your first impression.
Hi, I'm Tia. Stefan. Cool, nice to meet you. So, which program are you in?
I'm in physics.
Physics. Oh, I really dislike physics.
In his research, he has used speed dating, among other things, to investigate what goes on when humans go in search of love.
One thing about speed dating is it captures in just 3 minutes people's first impressions, which acts as sort of a gatekeeper to whether you go further with a relationship.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? That's a hard question.
But what we're interested in is whether there are things psychologically about a person that predict their success at speed dating, besides just how attractive they are or whether they're male or female.
So you're going to be having a 3-minute conversation with each person of the opposite sex participating here tonight. And then you both fill out that 1-page questionnaire. At the end of that 1-page questionnaire, you indicate if you would like to be put into contact with that person.
Men put down a lot more women than women put down men.
Lydon is a social psychologist. His research examines what makes people attracted to each other and what keeps them committed to their romantic relationships. Lydon's work builds on attachment theory, that even in adulthood, a person's relationships are greatly influenced by the sense of attachment they had early in life to their primary caregiver, usually their mother.
Some people have a mixed experience. They have this sort of inconsistent experience of maybe getting acceptance, getting rejection. They're people who are described as being anxiously attached. They're anxious because they still hope for acceptance from others, but they have this nagging concern that others are going to reject them. And so there's an ambivalence there. So if you're in an ongoing relationship and your partner is anxiously attached, they're always worried and they need you close, and they're always trying to monitor, are you going to be there? And, that can be hard and really wear on a relationship.
As part of Lydon's research, speed daters fill out a questionnaire prior to the event that measures their level of attachment, their mood, and other factors.
If you're that worried and you have that ambivalence, could that come into play? Could that have some influence on how you make that first impression?
At the start of the speed dating event, several research assistants secretly rate the physical attractiveness of each speed dater as a kind of base for comparison later. After the event, that data is compared with the rating forms filled out by the speed daters, as well as to their psychological profile.
And what we've seen, remarkably, is that the anxiously attached actually look less attractive within 3 minutes at speed dating. So physical attractiveness matters, but it's as if the attachment anxiety adjusts for that. So you can have two people who are similar in attractiveness, physical attractiveness, but if one is high in anxiety and the other is low in anxiety, 3 minutes later, the high anxious person is going to look less attractive than the low anxious person, even though when they started out, the two of them were similar. And we see that difference because in speed dating, the high anxious are less popular. Fewer people write them down as someone they want to meet again. So that's a pretty hard outcome.
So, what gives the anxiously attached away?
Well, the anxiously attached in our different experiments have looked more submissive. They've looked more withdrawn and less outgoing and friendly. And they look more anxious and worried, more distressed. When males are rating females in dominance versus submissive, they're comparing this female to other females. They're not comparing them to men. So they're saying relative to other females, how submissive is she? So submissive is not a sense of your own personality might come through. If you think of on a scale from 1 to 7 and 1 is submissive, men might prefer a woman who's maybe 4 or 5 rather than 2 or 3.
This speed dater agrees.
Personality, how she comes across, does she have energy, does she like the same things I do, does she have good interests, is she outgoing and not really reclusive, all that stuff.
Leiden's lab has found there are ways for the anxiously attached to boost their confidence, including bringing to mind people to whom they do feel a close attachment. Leiden's team is also studying facial cues that the anxiously attached may be giving off.
So we hope in the coming year to be able to see, is there actually a signal in terms of verbal or nonverbal behavior that can account for why these anxiously attached people do poorly.
The other branch of Leiden's research focuses on commitment once a person is in an established relationship. One study looked at divorce-proofing a relationship by comparing men who were asked to consider how they would handle a threat, like an encounter with an attractive member of the opposite sex, prior to it happening, with men who did not mentally prepare for such a threat to their relationship.
When the cute girl approaches you, you will do blank to protect your relationship. And we ask the guys to fill in the blank.
10 minutes later, the men were put in a virtual reality situation where they could go into rooms where there is an attractive alternative or choose the rooms where there were no attractive women.
We wanted to see, would you go to the 2 rooms with the girl or would you go to the 2 control rooms? And it turned out the guys who had to form this strategy of, when the cute girl approaches me at the bar, I will whatever to protect the relationship, were less likely to go where the attractive woman was.
In my work, you're calm and quiet and stuff.
By examining the factors that contribute to relationship initiation and relationship maintenance, Leiden hopes to make a significant contribution to our understanding of what constitutes a healthy, happy relationship, how to find it, and how to keep it.